Are you avoiding making your first loaf of sourdough because you don't know what flour to use? You get conflicting advice in your Google search. You go to the store and instantly get overwhelmed. You had no idea there were so many different types of flours. In this episode of Stop Overthinking Sourdough, I'm going to show you exactly which flour you can start with today, what bread flour actually changes, and what to look for in your flour. So if you've searched online, you've probably seen people say you must use bread flour for real sourdough, or that whole wheat is the only healthy option. In this video, we'll look at one thing that matters for structure, the amount of protein in the flour, and then walk through all-purpose, organic all-purpose, whole wheat, rye, and bread flour so you can decide what to actually use. When you look at the flour for bread or sourdough, the protein percentage tells you how much gluten the flour can form. That gluten gives your dough strength. It helps hold its shape and affects how your bread rises. For most everyday sourdough, flours in roughly the 10 to 13% protein range work pretty well, and all-purpose often sits around the middle of that range. Organic all-purpose flour sits at the higher end of that range. Bread flour usually sits even higher than that, and whole wheat is often even more higher. When we say protein in flour, we're talking about the proteins that form gluten and structure in the dough. Your body does get protein from flour, but it's not the same as the protein you get from meat, eggs, or beans. Here we're focused on how that protein behaves in bread. So the protein is the structure in the dough. So let's start with the flour most people probably already have: white all-purpose flour. Most all-purpose flours fall somewhere around 9 to 12% protein, depending on the brand. That means they can absolutely make good bread and sourdough. And they're also used for softer baked goods like cakes, muffins, cookies, scones. And in practice, you get a softer, more relaxed dough. It may spread a bit more if hydration is high, but with a simple method, it's very workable. If this is the flour already in your pantry, you can start making sourdough with that. You'll also see bleached and unbleached flour on the shelf. So bleached flour has been treated to whiten and mature it faster. Unbleached flour is allowed to age naturally, and for homemade sourdough, both can work, but I prefer unbleached flour for all of my baked goods. Bleached flour has been stripped down to bare minimum and offers little to no nutritional value. The lack of natural minerals can leave the dough and loaves wanting more. Unbleached flour tends to give you a better color and structure in bread, and it lines up more closely with how traditional bread was made. Bleached flour is often used in cakes and very soft baked goods. If bleached all-purpose is what you have right now, you can start with it. And when you restock, choose an unbleached for a simple upgrade. In my research, history has shown that white bread used to be a status symbol. For most of history, everyday bread was brown. It was made from whole grains and simple, unrefined flour. And over time, very pale white bread became a status symbol. The whiter the loaf, the more it was associated with wealth and refinement. So bakers started chasing that color. Records from England in the 1700s and 1800s describe bakers adding alum, chalk, plaster, even powdered bone to make bread whiter and heavier so that they could charge more at the markets. Oh, gasp. The drama of additives. As refining became more common, white flour lost much of the grain's fiber and nutrients and sometimes included additives that weren't good for us. Sound familiar? Today, we know heavily refined and whitened flours aren't the best choice for long-term health, and many people are moving back towards the bread with more color, whole grains, and loaves that don't contain all the additives. We're moving back towards real grain, which brings us to our next type of flour, the whole wheat flour. So whole wheat flour keeps the bran and germ, and it often has higher protein, around 13 to 15% protein or more. Plus it has more fiber and more flavor. And so when you use whole wheat, your starter often wakes up quickly because it has more to eat. The dough can feel denser, stickier, and can tear more easily if you use a lot of whole wheat without adjusting the water and its handling. For beginners, I like whole wheat as part of the mix, especially to feed starter or add flour. So rather than 100% whole wheat for the very first loaf, you can play around with proportions like half all-purpose flour, the other half whole wheat, And once you know what to expect with your bread, making adjustments becomes part of the fun of bread making. And then the next flour, rye flour, this is different. It has proteins, but they don't form gluten the way wheat does. That means rye is excellent for fermentation and flavor, but gives less structure than wheat alone. So a little rye in your starter or your dough can make things more lively and deepen flavor, but baking 100% rye bread is its own style and not the easiest first bake. So use rye in small amounts when you want more character and a very active starter. But don't feel pressure to base your first loaf on rye. And then the next flour is bread flour. Bread flour is white flour made from a higher protein wheat grain. Many bread flour sits in the 12 to 14 range or higher, which means more potential for strength and chew. In the bowl, using a whole grain flour usually looks that your dough will stand taller, hold shape more easily, and feel stronger. It can also feel tighter and more elastic, especially if you're still getting comfortable with handling dough. So hence that stretching and that gluten structure helps dough handling a little bit. So bread flour can be helpful if your dough keeps feeling too loose, even when you're following a simple method, but it's not a requirement to begin. So do you have to use bread flour to start sourdough? I mean, no, you do not need bread flour to build a strong starter or bake a good loaf at home. You can begin with unbleached all-purpose flour. Learn how the dough feels and decide later if you want to bring in bread flour for more strength or rye flour for more flavor. Let me give you a simple way to think about flour choices. Good gets you moving with what's in your pantry. Better adds a bit more structure when you're ready for it. And optional lets you play with flavor and activity after you've learned how dough should behave. So all flour can be used. Use what you have to start. Then when you need more flour, consider trying a higher protein. You want to look for a bag of flour and see how much protein it has in it. The higher the protein, the stronger the gluten structure. Flour protein tells you how much strength a dough can build. All-purpose sits in the middle and is a completely valid way to begin. Bread flour adds more strength, whole wheat and rye add more flavor and activity and change how the dough feels. You can start with a flour you have, keep your method simple, and make choices about more chew, more flavor, and more strength later. And if this helped you understand a bit about flour, you can check out my other videos in this series, especially what water should I use for sourdough. So both flour and water feel straightforward. In the next video, I will be talking about what equipment and tools are actually needed to make a loaf of bread. And if you are ready to give sourdough a try, download my written step-by-step instructions at thebreadandbutterway.com/toolkit. We go from starter to first loaf. And then tell me in the comments, what flour do you have in your kitchen right now? And what have you been nervous to use for sourdough? All right, we'll see you in the next video.